Hand to nobody. I didn't put my hand to nobody. I didn't put my hand to nobody like you. But I didn't put my hand to like you. I didn't attack anyone like you. But I didn't attack nobody like
trying to harass me.
Harassing you? You stand in between how many people I'm
You've
harassing
seen
you.
their behaviour.
Stop
Ladies
being
and gentlemen.
Who are you?
Since he
Who are
has
you?
ignored the debate,
What happened to you when you were
since
15
he
years
ran
old? Were
away
you
from the
bullied?
debate,
Were you bullied?
let me.
You were bullied,
Oh,
right? That's what it
okay.
is. That's what happened. You were bullied. I see a bully.
We have two
I see the pain
hadith
in your eyes. I see the pain
in
in
the
your eyes.
Islamic
I really see
sources.
the pain in your eyes.
In the
I see the
Islamic
pain in your
sources
eyes. I see
that
the pain
talk
in
about
your
a
eyes. I see the pain in your eyes.
between Emperor
I see the pain in your
Heraclius
eyes. I see the pain in your eyes.
between Emperor
Bob, who are you? Bob.
and the
Bob.
Muslims.
Bob, tell me.
And I contend,
Bob, tell me.
ladies and
Bob, tell me.
gentlemen,
Who are you?
that this meeting
Bob.
never happened,
Bob, tell me. Who are you?
and that this hadith
Bob.
that Muslims
Bob,
say
you're
are
not going to talk about
sahih
today.
is a
Bob,
lie,
there's not going to be conversation behind
which
you.
means that a lie is inside Islamic sources and is called sahih.
Sister, I don't thank you. Shukran.
They try
Shukran.
to put you down.
I
They
appreciate it.
try
Sister, I
to
appreciate
speak
it. Wallahi.
into your life. You must
His question is, who are you?
notice the double standards
Bob, I talked about
of the
this.
Islamist
Where do you
law.
live? Where do you
He
live?
can't intimidate
Where do you
me.
live?
He can't bully
Where do you
me.
live? I live in
He
Hartford. Where do you
can't
live?
debate me.
I live in Hartford.
And
Where do you live?
therefore, London. And therefore,
no.
ladies and gentlemen.
No, no,
And
no, that's not good
therefore,
enough. Where do you live?
oh, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I live in Hartford.
Halston's not good enough.
hold on.
Where's your address?
No.
What street?
Bob,
No.
who are you?
Why? No. Why?
Bob,
So
who
he
are you?
demands-
No, I demand.
He
Look,
demands
Bob,
that I give personal
everyone here
information.
wants to know who you
His
are.
demand.
Who are you?
Everyone
me.
here
You tell
wants
me.
to know your address.
You tell me. Who are you?
tell me. You tell me.
No, I'm not going to tell
Oh
you.
no, he's
You know,
not going to
you
tell
know
me.
best. You know best.
So I'm not going to tell
You need to know who you are.
Notice
I don't think you know who
the
you
double
are.
standards
I don't think you know who you are.
of the
I
Islamists,
don't think you know who
ladies
you
and
are. I don't think you
gentlemen.
know who you are. I
They
don't think you are.
use
Stop
cannot
igniting
stand up
battles here.
to them.
No one wants to fight.
Do
Stop it.
not believe
He's the
them.
only one to
Yeah,
fight.
he wants to
He's
fight.
the only one
He wants
to start the fight.
I never wanted to fight.
We Muslims, we don't care about you.
Who
We don't care about you. We don't care what you say at all.
see him?
You attack Muslims.
Put your hand up. If you saw him, get in my face.
Why are you a victim?
There you go. Three
Trying to
witnesses.
be
Four
victim. Because he
witnesses.
get paid.
That he
Because he get
tried
paid.
to get in my
He gets
face.
the donation.
That he
Because he
tried
gets the
to
money.
intimidate me.
You don't know. I know.
This coward.
That's why I asked
This
you.
coward.
You're the only coward there, man. You're the only coward there, man.
Custard
No one
Tom.
coward like you,
This
man.
coward that couldn't intimidate
Ask everyone
a
how you know me.
witness. This coward.
Explain why you slap people.
Demanded.
Explain why you slap people. Is that Christianity to slap
But
people?
he was unable.
Explain why you attacking
Give his
Muslims there, man.
address.
Explain.
Now,
Why
let me
you
ask you a
attack Muslims? Why you attacking
Let me ask you a
Answer
question.
my question and I will answer you.
Let me
Why
ask
you
you a
attacking
question.
Muslims there?
Where?
Why you Afghan Mo? Afghan Mo.
You mean the guy that stabbed me in the foot?
Stabbed you? I can see you stabbing
He
me.
stabbed me in the foot.
No. You
Yes,
stabbed him
he
with
did.
the Quran.
It's
It's on
caught on
video.
camera.
It's on video.
Is in English
Yeah, it's
translation
in
the
video.
Quran?
It's in video.
Is the English
It
translation
doesn't
the
matter.
Quran?
It's still Quran.
Oh.
It's still holy book for
So it
Quran.
says,
Still holy book
it
for us.
says that in English translation of the Quran is the Quran. But when I debate him about the Quran, he'll say that's not the Quran because it's in English.
You're not seeking the truth to debate you. We come here to do so.
Let me
So
ask
why
you
you
this question.
slapping people here and to talk about
Let me
Muslim
ask you
violence?
this
When
question.
you're the most violent persons about.
In Hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari.
Answer. Why you attacking Muslim first? Why you attacking Muslims? Why you attacking Muslims?
Aren't you the
Why you
man?
attacking Muslims?
Aren't you the man that stood there and harassed a Korean Christian
No.
because she wasn't
No.
speaking
No.
English?
She was
We
laughing
got
with
you
me.
on camera.
She was laughing with me.
No.
She was laughing
This
with me.
man
She was laughing with me.
harassed
Show
a
me. Show
woman
them. Show
and
them.
a Korean
Show them. She was
Christian.
laughing with me.
And
She was
harassed
holding the
her
Quran in the floor.
because
She was throwing the
speaking
Quran in the floor.
Korean.
She was throwing the Quran here in the floor. I didn't slap people.
Notice.
I didn't slap.
Notice.
So I talked to her. You
Notice.
slapped the person. You
Notice.
actually put your hand
This
on the
man
person. I didn't put my hand on nobody. I didn't put my hand on nobody. I didn't put my hand on nobody like you. But I didn't put my hand like you. I didn't attack anyone like you. But I didn't attack nobody like
trying
you.
to harass me.
Harassing you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You stand in between how many people
you
I'm
see
harassing you.
their
I'm harassing
behaviour.
you. Stop
Ladies
playing
and
victim.
gentlemen.
Stop playing victim. We know that you beg. You beg. We know you beg. You beg. You beg.
Open
You beg
your
for money.
eyes.
You come here to beg
The
for
media
money. You are a
are
beggar.
lying
You
to
are a
you.
beggar. You come here to beg
Your
for money.
politicians
You do this
are
video.
lying to
You do
you.
this video to get money, man. To get donations, man. You do that to get donations, man. Why are you attacking the Muslims
Why are you
here?
frightened?
Why are you attacking the
Why are
Muslims
you
here?
frightened?
I know my religion. You
Let's
know
debate
it.
it.
Do you believe in it? Do you believe
Do you
in
believe
this?
this
Do you believe in this? Do you believe in this? Do you believe in that?
No, I don't.
So why are you using it?
Because it proves.
Why are you using
Don't
it?
answer that question. I'm going to. Why am I using this hadith? Why am I going to use this hadith? Notice he asks a question.
I don't do that because I'm
Why
Muslim
did
like you.
Afghan Mo get slapped in the face with a Quran? Why? Because he attacked
Because you are a violent person. Because you show in the Christianity. You represent your religion. Because you represent
You
your
saw me be
religion.
assaulted
You represent
this
your
morning
faith. That's your
by a
faith.
Muslim.
That's
Put
what
your
you
hand up
believe.
if you saw that.
That's what you believe.
Put
You
your hand up
violent
if you saw
cunt.
that.
That's what you
There
believe.
you go. A Muslim assaulted me this morning.
A Muslim finger
No,
did he finger you?
let me ask you a question.
What did he
Don't
do?
attack us, no one is
If someone attacks you, how do you defend yourself? He slapped me.
You what?
No. Have you got an obsession with fingers? Is that your fantasy?
I want to know what you did.
Do you fantasize?
No one saw anything in the video. I didn't see. In the videos that everyone saw, we didn't see no attack. We saw you attacking. So if you say inside heaven, it must be something we didn't see.
So, ladies and
Must be
gentlemen,
something we didn't see 100%.
notice
Because
they
we didn't see it on
run
camera.
from a debate. Why? Why are they running? Muslims in this park criticize Christianity all of the time.
You have no money. You're broke, man. You're broke, man. You beg for money, man. You beg for
I've
yours for
dated
money, man.
Muslim
You beg
girls.
the church for money, man.
I visited
You come here
mosques.
to get bit from the church.
Ladies and
You talk
gentlemen.
about you giving you Arabic.
No,
You Arabic. You beg for money.
Has he
Like
criticized
any beggar
Ali
in the
Dawah
street,
for
man.
money?
You use your
No.
religion to beg, man.
Has he criticized?
You using your religion to beg money, man.
Talking rubbish.
You talking rubbish
Has
to
he
beg money, man.
criticized Mohammed Hijab for money? No. You see, ladies and gentlemen, why are you trying to intimidate people? Why are you trying to intimidate people?
Why are you scared? Why are you scared? Why are you scared? I didn't try to intimidate nobody. But if you're scared, that's your problem.
You're not
If
scared.
you're scared, that's your
You're not a
problem.
gangster.
No, man, I can do
not a
I can do
gangster.
a lot, but I'm a Muslim.
You're not a
I'm not
gangster.
gonna do violent here.
not a
We
gangster.
Muslim, we don't do violent. We're not like you.
not
We're not
scary.
like you, G.
breath
We're not
smells,
like
but
you,
you're
man.
not scary.
Your whole you look like my shit.
Zero. There is a 1% absolute benefit from statins. 1%. So the 1 in 100 people will benefit from statins. But they give it to 100 people. In the name of saving you. Sorry?
What happens if I'm the one person that takes it and I
If you're the wrong person, that's one person who may get a heart attack. However, if you're 99 people, if you're one of the 99 people who do not need to take this medical intervention and you take it, then the side effects from statins, which are ubiquitous, I had them myself. I was convinced when I didn't know anything about it. When I was 50, the doctor said, take statins. You're at risk. I said, why am I at risk? He says, because your brother had a heart attack. I said, okay. So I took the statins. I got pins and needles all down my legs for months on end. Months on end. I stopped taking the statins. The statins are not medicine. Medicine is, what is the matter with you? What's your health? How are you individually? How can I treat you? Let's find out what's wrong with you. Let's identify what you individually have got wrong with you or got right with you. Let's amend your lifestyle, your food, your habits, your exercise to improve your health. That's medicine. That's healthcare. Healthcare is not, oh, this percentage of the population get a heart attack. This percentage in an experimental trial of 200 people got benefits or got less likely to get a heart attack. And therefore, you must all take these statins. Or you must all take these Pfizer vaccine. This is not medicine, it's psychotically imposed dictatorial use of pharmaceuticals against the population. So, I've been speaking a long time, I'm going to call a halt for that now. Thanks very much for listening. Piers Corbyn will get up now. Thank you very much.
Oh, quick round of applause for Heiko Koo! Well, I was late because I had a few phone calls. Anyway, fantastic to be here yet again in Speaker's Corner, Hyde Park. And now, people, we are becoming the epicentre of truth, while the mainstream media lie, and lie. And first thing I want to remind people is that everything I and others said 2 years ago about what was going to happen has turned out to be true. I was called a mad conspiracy theorist for saying that Bill Gates wanted to jab the world, for saying that the jab was dangerous, for saying that man-made climate change didn't exist. All these things I said we now know are true. Yet the mainstream media still ignore me. They don't want me on TV. The controlled opposition, like GB News, they don't want me on either. Maybe we'll be able to force them. Maybe we will. But let us now look at the big issue before us, which might even force open debate. It might do. That's the case of Andrew Bridgen MP. He has been vilified and hounded by the media, by the whole of the parliamentary system, simply for speaking the truth. And as you all know, when he made his speech in Parliament, he verified everything. It was all put in the Library of Parliament. Yet he was denounced in Parliament for being an anti-Semite.
Oh yeah.
Now that is a lie.
He's like your brother, isn't he?
He's been labelled that just like my brother. But let us be very clear what Andrew Bridgen said. And he was quoting an Israeli Jewish cardiologist, but he said it himself as well, so he's saying it too. He said the injection program is the biggest crime against humanity since the Holocaust. That was deemed anti-Semitic. It is not anti-Semitic. He said it's the biggest thing since then. Since then. He didn't belittle the Holocaust. He didn't say the Holocaust didn't happen. He didn't say the Holocaust was less than you believe. He said it's the biggest thing since then. That is not anti-Semitic. And only a fool and a liar would say it is. So, Andrew Bridgen has said to the politicians concerned that they will, the Hancock in particular, they will be taken to court for libel unless they withdraw the tweet which says that and retract what they say. Otherwise they're going to be taken to court for libel. And logically he will win. That is fantastic. And I support Andrew Bridgen all the way.
Absolutely.
And every person that cares about human life should be supporting Andrew Bridgen and demanding an end to the injection programmes, all of them now.
Absolutely.
And we have till February the 1st, as far as I'm concerned, to win this. And we should also be demanding an inquiry into how this jab programme came about. But of course, who will run the inquiry is a big question, because the powers that be always put cover-ups in charge of inquiries. But let's cross that bridge when it comes. There has to be an inquiry, and of course every one of you can do your own inquiries, and we know the truth.
You know you're nuts, right?
Good afternoon, sir.
I think it's evening already. Always a pleasure to see you here.
Yes, and I am not anti-Semitic, and I never have been anti-Semitic.
No, I said you're nuts. I didn't say you're
And
anti-Semitic.
by the way,
Let's clarify that.
the issue of Andrew Bridgen will raise some other libel questions, because I myself was accused of being anti-Semitic for putting out a leaflet which was anti-Nazi, and those people that accused me of anti-Semitism themselves committed libel. And that is something which might follow on after Andrew Bidgen has taken his case. And there's another one about libel, namely those scammers who did a Photoshop, showed my t-shirt, well, showed me with a t-shirt, a yellow t-shirt, holding money. But the t-shirt they showed didn't have any words on it. It was a Photoshop. That was in a video edited in 37 places to try and frame me as being bribed by a Vax company. I said actually to these people that I was talking to, we will not change any policy at all and we're opposed to all the jabs. However, that was left out of the video. But leave that aside. The accusations against me on that were libel, and we might also follow that up. But of course, will the courts of England actually do their job? I do not know. It is plain black and white what's happened. It's plainly libel. Let's seek the truth. But let's see what's going to happen next. We've got to demand the media end their witch hunt of Andrew Bidgen. And we will be organising pickets, demonstrations against the mainstream media for their lies, lies and lies, and demand the truth. And we want to get on the mainstream TV as well. We've got to give them an offer they can't refuse. I don't know what it is, but we've got to get on there and speak the truth. Because as Haiku says, their whole narrative is crumbling. And we know what people are thinking. We did our own little opinion poll on my Twitter channel, at Real Piers Corbyn. Elon Musk hasn't reinstated my other one, of course, ho ho. But there, 91% say Andrew Bidgen was speaking the truth. And you know the figures in America. But what about the political spectrum? You see, the biggest thing that disgusted me about those statements in Parliament by Hancock and Sunak was that not a single MP stood up and said, Mr. Prime Minister, that statement you made isn't true. Please, could you justify it? Not one MP, not even my brother, none of them. They're all scared, scared, scared. The whole system in Parliament is utter rubbish. It's a circus. And people like Reform UK are part of that circus as well. They're pretending to be opposition, but they themselves believe in continuing the vaccination injection programme. That is a disgrace. And furthermore, note this. Representatives of Reform UK were present at the formation of Together, the Together so-called campaign, which limits itself and got very upset about us going to Oxford giving out effective leaflets when they were giving out stupid, inaccurate leaflets. That upset them. Well, of course it upset them. But why are they giving out these stupid leaflets and who pays them to do so? That is the question. So be very careful. When people come campaigning with you, ask them, what are they actually saying? That's what you've got to know. And we have to be clear. Now there will be posers everywhere. If people work with you, then great. But we say, in any area where there's any campaign, first thing we ask is who's here and what are you doing? We do not walk into an area and impose ourselves. We've been going around the country. We've been going to Ealing. We've been going to, well, many places, Oxford, Canterbury, supporting those people there against these zoning policies. So I think we'll move on to talk a bit about zoning policies now. Because some people think, oh, this is just small. No, not small at all. First thing to understand though, the actually cretinism of what has been said. They tell us that in order to have your ability to go around and go to a shop within 15 minutes, we have to block cars from driving in and out of the area. Right, to help you walk, we're going to block cars from moving. This is utter insanity. Your ability to walk is nothing to do with the cars driving around. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Does anybody here disagree with that? No, there's nobody here who's mentally deficient. No. Good. But we're told, and people believe it, you've got to block roads in order to help other people walk. It is utter, complete insanity and nonsense. It is war on the car in the name of man-made climate change. But it doesn't do anything about pollution anyway. It makes pollution worse because the cars will drive greater distances in order to reach their destination and avoid a charge. What is it really about? It's about control, control, control. And it's not just about controlling cars, because the control of cars necessitates cameras everywhere to watch you. That is what it's about. And those cameras will watch people walking, they'll watch people on bicycles. And if they don't like you for some reason, because you've spoken out against the government, because you're deemed anti-Semitic, because you've spoken the truth, because you owe somebody something, you will find that your credit is terminated when you walk in a shop. That is what is in store for us. It's not just a game about cars. And anyway, let us be clear. The story behind it of man-made climate change is a utter, complete lie. L-I-E. It's a lie. Man-made climate change does not exist. World CO2 levels follow changes in temperature, as shown by 20,000 years of detailed data from ice core, supported.
This story they said this week, the oceans are warming.
Well, the oceans are warming at an infinitesimal rate from the bottom due to they're still warming from the last ice age. And when they do that, they do eject small amounts of CO2. But the extra CO2 out now is from the medieval warm period, a delayed effect of circulation. Everything they say now about climate is lies. This claim that this year or last year was the warmest ever since sliced bread is a complete lie. They generate this lie by one, fiddling the current data, but two, a more clever thing, because you don't notice it, they change the data in the past. They change it. I've seen the data sets. One data set, and then 2 years later, another data set. The numbers are different. They've adjusted them, they say. How do they adjust them? Oh well, they remove a weather station they didn't like and deemed that that wasn't whatever. So then the average changes. It is lies, lies, lies. But fortunately, the lies are still on record. You can still get the previous records. You can still get them and compare them. And we do it on our graphs. The lie at present was at least half a degree, probably 1 degree. Everything they say about world temperatures, knock off a degree. It's a complete, utter lie. And the whole of climate science, I would say, is corrupt. Anybody who receives any funding in a university for climate science will be there to force the CO2 narrative. And they themselves, these guys, they know it's lies, which is why they will never discuss openly with me. And if we get on mainstream television, I'll be saying, we want somebody from the other side in front of me to argue. And they will never, never, never turn up. They are cowards and liars and a disgrace to science and humanity. Okay. Yes, so I'll almost end there to say, back to the Andrew Bridgen question, please support him in every way. Phone your MP, seriously, phone your MP and say we want you to stand for the truth with Andrew Bridgen. We want you to call for the end of the jab injection programme. We want you to call for an inquiry into how all these monstrosities came about. So that is on the jab and injection programme. On the low traffic zones, we need to have a national united front campaign against all these zonings. The 15-minute games, the low traffic neighbourhoods and the ultra low emission zone. And the CAZs, the clean air zones, so-called, in other cities, they're like the ultra low emission. Now, I've amounted a so-called fine, or fines of £34,000 for ULEZ, and I'm not going to pay a penny. I will never pay. There will be a court case, maybe, or they'll give up, one or the other. But now, for the extension of ULEZ to the M25, 6 London boroughs have already said they won't do it. They do not agree. So we've got to make sure they will not put up any cameras, they will not allow any tracking of people driving through. We've got to do that. I think we can win this. So everybody, please, take leaflets against the ULEZ. Take leaflets against all zoning. Get them in shops. Stick them up. Build a united campaign. And if you know anybody that's affected by an LTN, get in touch with the campaign. It's all listed on there. It's called the National United Front Against Zone Controls. Say what you want on the Telegram group and use one of those leaflets, or we can produce special leaflets for your area. We've got to have all the different zone things fighting each other, not playing little games one against the other, such as the Together group or their associates, what they call themselves, not our future or something. They're working with Reform UK, and as far as I'm concerned, they're part of the circus. The circus is there to make you think it's got to be Labour or Tory or Lib Dem to play the same game in Parliament. Labour and Tory right now might just as well be the same party. And you notice that in order to show he's more of a arse licker than Sunak, that Starmer has taken his whole shadow cabinet is going to Davos. Is that right? The whole shadow cabinet. And they're saving the planet, flying by jet plane. What lying hypocrites they are! What complete, absolute scum! They've got it swept aside, just like the Tories. Parasites and worms, yes. Well, I don't think worms would even eat them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, that is enough for today, I think. Thank you, Haiku, and I just want to say our favourite slogan, we will end with resist, defy, do not comply. Resist, defy, do not comply. Resist, defy, do not comply.
Come on.